Oh man.
Yeah, what a way to enter it. He's like, oh man.
I gotta get these. Check.
Microphone check 1 2 1 2.
Yeah, it's a lot of checks today. Check. Just getting all the pinch points, man.
Yeah.
Gotta get out and make sure my hands are clear. You know what I'm saying? Don't want to hurt my hands. All these little pinch points. Put down these safety regulations for the day. Because we're going in.
Now I'm saying.
All right. You know what I mean?
Now I'm saying.
You know what I mean? Oh man, let's get this going, man. It's just too funny right now. But you're here, man. We here. And it's good to have everybody here, man. It's good to have everybody here. Got my man Six Slayer over here. Got my man Elite Riz right here. And I got my man Tech over here. No, over there. Down there, it is right there.
We all in here.
How to get the hands right, man.
I know.
And it's I don't know, man. It's the 4th of July. Let's give it up for the 4th of July, man.
Happy birthday, America.
Yeah.
Let's give it up, man.
It's raining here, man.
Is it?
Oh.
It's just overcast here, but
hot today. Yeah.
Yeah, we got
you're from Houston, though, right?
We're both in Dallas.
Y'all in Dallas now? Okay. Well,
I'm out in Pennsylvania.
Oh, you're from Houston. All right, yeah. So I'm in the Woodlands, so it's raining. That's what I was about to ask. Houston might not be, but it's raining here.
Yeah,
my PA is about to start raining today.
Humidity, man.
Yeah,
enough humidity up here, bro. I'm sick of the humidity, man.
Oh yes. We finally had a little reprieve from that today and yesterday. But anyway, enough about this hot ass weather. It is the 4th of July, so after this, I'm definitely going to a barbecue. So I'm not going to be here for too long. I claim that every time and then stay the longest. But whatever, we'll see how that goes. But what's up, everybody?
Hey, Sick, I'm handing the mic to you, bro.
No. I already told you. I don't even know what to say specifically, but as soon as you guys bring up something, I'm sure I'll be in there like swimwear. So.
Oh yes. We got Tech. We got plenty to talk about, man. Elite. We got really, but I'm gonna let Sick. After I drop Sick off something, man, I'm letting him do his thing. He's got that barbecue to go to. Shout out to the chat room, man. Shout out to the viewers. Di-RRec Gaming is here, man. We here. We strong. Thanks for all the continued support. Thanks to Six Slayer, Eli, the realest one, and everybody else that pops up in here, man, from the streets that go in and day out on this show on our channel, man. Techno Blast. Check Techno Blast over there on YouTube on his channel. Techno Blast. Check him out over there, man. He's the techno guy, man. The ones guys with all the personality, man. That makes you laugh, that makes you cry. That's the guy, man. When you need somebody to talk to, he's got a shoulder. He's got 2 shoulders for you, man, to lean on. When you need a friend to call on, you need somebody to lean on. Tech is your man.
And I'll bring the lean too.
Oh, okay. Okay. It's gonna be like that.
Yo. It's true. Hey, I can't help it, man. I'm in a good mood. Why does?
Because you went to Six Flags yesterday. That's why.
I'm in such a good mood today. And I want to get it started. So I want to hold the audience too long, but I just want to, build up the anticipation. But what's up, man? I mean, y'all good with some mics? Shout outs, man. What's up, TV? There's a lot of you too, man.
Here, America.
Reaper. Yeah, what's up?
You show Vinny in the building, Mr. King in the
USO Vinny, America.
I just came back from Six Flags, man. I had to represent my Looney Tunes today.
Oh, you did? Oh, wow. Yeah, you already had some fun. I just came from work.
Did you find the old guy that dances like? Dun, 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 dun.
I haven't found him though, man. But my daughters had me wilding out, bro. I went on the Joker, and I won't go on the Joker no more, man. Look, the general's in the building.
I need to go with you then, because nobody wants to go on rides with me when I go.
You saw the sadness in his face when he said he's not going on there no more.
Yo, I'm not going on the Joker no more, man.
You see it in his
I
eye,
went backwards, bro.
Oh wow, he's not. He ain't with it.
Oh yeah, the backwards. Yeah.
Yeah, I went backwards. She got me. She tricked me, man.
He got a little bit of PTSD from that. It seems. Jeez.
But yo, we're gonna start it off, man. We're gonna start it off. I got 3 mics, man. I'm throwing them to y'all, and we're gonna start it off right, man. What's up with this dude, man? This Microsoft engineer, man, stole $10 million by selling Xbox gift cards.
Yeah, I saw that.
Man. Come on.
I guess he was mad about something, right?
No, he wasn't mad.
He was mad about his bank account.
Yeah, so he tried to do something about it. That's what it is. Damn.
He wasn't getting paid or something like that.
Hey, but if he would have took his
he actually had a gripe.
Yeah, he had a gripe. I think he wanted like not a raise, but he wanted to be paid like he was supposed to be paid.
You want to get paid in Bitcoin,
and I guess Microsoft didn't want to pay whether the market rate or whatever rate he wanted, and then he turned around and did that.
We'll go find somebody who does.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But if he would have stopped around 2 million, he would have got off. He would have been all right. They probably wouldn't even look for him.
Yeah.
They just don't know how to do it, do they, man? They just keep going.
Yeah. Yeah, because they even have a setup like that they didn't detect it at any point in time. Means that you had it set up nice and you got greedy and messed that up for yourself.
This stuff is crazy, man.
Man, it's always some kind of insider thing, like that whole FIFA thing. Well, we talked about that before, and I don't even know if that was ever resolved or whatnot. But you remember, people were getting charged for FIFA cards who never played the game or whatever, or had in the past in like past iterations, but they're getting, charged for for whatever the equivalent of shark cards is in FIFA, whatever it is for money. So you could buy DLC and whatnot, or loot boxes, whatever. Like, people were getting robbed for that for a long time, and no one ever got caught for as long as I was following that story. It had to be some kind of inside job, and there's always some kind of little situation like that. If it was Xbox Live cards or PSN cards or Nintendo or Steam cards or whatever, anything these folks who make some money off top, just taking off the cream off top or whatever, they're gonna try. Sometimes you just get too greedy and then you get caught. Guess they don't know how to be good criminals.
Okay, so this is how it goes. It all started when he discovered a bug in Microsoft's e-commerce innards when he received legitimate gift cards via fake credit card purchases. Microsoft systems would prevent fake purchases from sending real physical goods, which is an example of operations working as intended. But they would dispense real digital goods such as 5x5 gift cards codes, which Vaschus realized that he happened upon. He took his fortunes to the next level and crafted a program that would let him mass withdraw gift cards. So
he got greedy. That's what it was. He got greedy because they didn't see it at first. That means he did it too hard, and then it finally started burning for somebody, and he smelled the fire. Come check it, boom, get caught.
Yeah. So it says here, it got to the point where his money printing schemes was, according to prosecutors, singularly responsible for global fluctuations in the price of Xbox gift cards on reseller markets.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hold on. Hey, so is that why they tried to get the money back by raising the price of Game Pass?
I don't know. They're probably going to charge us $10 for upgrades later. I don't know.
Oh. It's crazy, man. It's crazy because, but even though they don't say it outright, every detail they give comes back to the same conclusion that, he got too greedy, and that's why they finally detected him. Yeah. Had he kept it low key, he could have slowly cut out infinite amounts of money over time that they never would have detected ever. But he got so greedy with it that he was actually affecting the reseller market. One person alone had that much influence. Whole businesses don't have that much influence. Like Best Buy can't have that much influence no matter what they do with the cards, unless they sell them for $1. That's the only way they could have that level of influence. And this guy did it on his own. Wow. That's greedy.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Happy 4th, man. Happy 4th.
Yo, man. dude. So, a lot of folks on Twitter are turning coat, and I mean, the thing about it is, I know a lot of people say, all kind of wild stuff like if they left Xbox to go PlayStation and then I welcome back, I don't care one way or another, right? But it doesn't mean I'm not going to look at you from the side eye squinting.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of these guys now, like Just a LED. There's a couple others who all of a sudden now they sound like they're talking right, but it just sounds. It doesn't even sound manufactured.
Right.
But it seemed to be the right thing to say at the right time every time. Ever since they seem to switch sides, so like their responses are too perfect, and so to me it comes off like I think they're just saying whatever it takes to be accepted, right? They'll take the L for the long term.
But anybody that's kind of been around, well, it's like I'm just gonna not even pay attention to you. I don't care what you say. Yeah.
But there are a lot of people who just won't remember or whatever. Or they won't see the name for a while until they forget.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they see good things or things they agree with. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And they just forget and they fall into it. So to me, this is why I say don't block, mute, because when you block, they know you did it and they get it's just a part of the troll. So don't do that.
Just that's their part of their community, man. They look at that as victory laps. Yeah.
Hey, Xbox guys out here do that too. So you know what it is. You know what I'm talking about when I say that. Right. So mute them. Do that instead. Don't do anything you can to avoid the trolls' advantage. So like the trolling isn't worth it to them if everything you do doesn't really give them room for that. But that's just my point.
Is that why they don't block me, but they mute me and I never get a response from them? Because I'm muted. What a jerk.
Yeah, because you're muted, so they don't see you, but you don't know that at all.
Right.
Because if you were blocked, you would know. But when you're muted,
when you're muted, you don't know. You're not getting any responses. You're just sitting there talking to yourself.
Yep. So it's like a shadow ban almost. But so with these guys, I feel like that's what's going on. That's my honest opinion. I mean, maybe they're starting to finally see the wisdom, although it seems too perfect to me. And even if it wasn't, I have no reason to trust. Period. That's on you, not me, homie. You did that for me not to trust you in the first place. So even if you were seeing a different light, maybe you are, but that's on you to prove it, not me.
Yeah, but for me, they can stay over there, man. I mean, I ain't gonna go like my man was like, F you can't come back. What I mean is, I don't want them back. I'm not gonna, consume their content.
Right.
Or pay any attention to their opinions because I mean Xbox, they were light on the exclusives and Sony had some, so they jumped on the Xbox has no games and rode the wave. And to me it only really worked for MBG because when he was an Xbox guy, I mean he was at around 20. I was paying attention to him. He slowly started whining about Xbox and then he just completely turned coat. But it's getting to a point now to where they're going to have to start playing that neutral card because once you want to talk down to Xbox and Xbox, I mean, it's coming. They can keep saying we don't have any games, 7 months or however long the system's been.
They will always say that no matter what.
No. But see, at that point, are you taking them seriously though? Are you even paying attention to any?
I just roll my eyes and mute them.
Right.
That's all I do now. Just roll my eyes and mute. I don't even think about it.
Right now, they can say, Xbox has no games. There's nothing really we can say about that because it really mean exclusives. But in a minute, they can talk down about Game Pass. But once the Bethesda games start hitting, once every other studio that they just bought starts dropping these games that are on a regular, there's nothing that they can say. At what point do you just look like a weirdo complaining about something you quote or unquote don't like? You just sound
like an old man yelling at the sky, basically.
Hey, he's right, man. There's a dude on Twitter I think it was yesterday. Might have been yesterday, day before yesterday. Well, no, I actually think he split the days. He was on Twitter for like 11 hours, man.
What?
Telling people how Game Pass is unequivalent to PlayStation.
Is that the thread I'm part of that's been going on for like 3 days?
Listen, man, Game Pass has them on the cuckoo clock, man.
Yeah, for real.
Any
mention of it that has nothing to do with them is driving them nuts now. You don't even have to mention PlayStation.
How does Game Pass have you out here sounding and looking this weird, man? This bizarre.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Because you don't have one.
It's a service, man. That's all it is. And you know what gets me, man? You know what gets me is it's been going on too long, right? It's been going on too long to the point where it's like, look, you had a point. You had a valid point to hate it when it was in its 5 million point. But once Game Pass hit 10 million, it's at a point where it's like, listen, man, you got to find another hobby for your tears. You can't just keep bringing up. Right. You can't just keep bringing up Game Pass and your desires to cry on social media all the time, man. It's got to get to a point where you gotta dig deep and start liking the things on your preferred platform and talk about them. Because listen, man, I'm gonna hate when them numbers come out and Game Pass 25.
Apparently it happened a little bit, or not the Game Pass numbers, but I was hearing something and VG Charts verified it, actually agreed with it. So it had them going extra crazy, apparently, that I don't even know what region, but it was only by 10,000 that the Xbox was outselling the PlayStation this past month. I don't know what region it was even, because it was only by 10,000.
What was this, man? It was winning in somewhere.
It was winning in Japan lately, I know that, but this is something different.
But another place.
I know overall it's winning.
Yo, if the chat knows what we're talking about, please hit it up in the chat, man. I did see that.
If anybody knows, so sorry for about the chat. Yeah, what's up, everybody?
Yo, shout out to the chat room. If y'all had that answer, please hit it up, man. So I can put
What's up, chat room? Thank you for tuning in today to our new show at Di-RRec Gaming.
What's up, gamers? Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe.
Don't forget to
smash that like button.
Smash it, baby.
Smash it. Bow.
Pound it.
Smash the whole deck. Destroy your whole keyboard for it, man.
Yo, if anybody knows the name of that game for real, or whatever, I honestly can't remember. It would help if we remember, because it describes the whole situation. But basically, yeah.
India. Eli and Sick. It was India. That came with the answer.
Shout out to India for tuning in to Di-RRec Gaming.
Shout out to
India. This was a couple weeks ago. We were talking. I was talking about India and these other emerging markets, and India was one of the ones that
that's true.
Microsoft went to first. No, I think actually it was Sony who went there first, or Microsoft. I forget which, but one did. Now the other did, and so now it's a competition more like when PlayStation and Saturn first came out, when there wasn't a winner yet. And it wasn't apparent that PlayStation was going to win at that point yet. And there was a lot of competition amongst gamers. I don't know if anybody remembers this game, but that's the way
he's right. Yeah. They're going around doing this now. Mm-hmm. He's not lying. This is what they're doing now. Any little thing that they can do to try to medicate their emotions, they say stuff like this. It's true. He's right.
In India, only by 10,000, a new market where it can switch over month to month, and it really doesn't make any difference right now, because it's not going to matter for years, that market. But, it's just the battles. You're going to win some, lose some. But they going nuts over each and every one. The only reason we even know that Microsoft, is outselling, PlayStation in India this month by the mere 10,000 is because they got mad at it. The Xbox community wasn't even focused on that or noticed at all. It was because y'all got mad.
I got mad?
Not the Xbox fans. I mean, these PlayStation guys, these dummies. You getting mad about what that wouldn't make sense at all. But these guys, I don't know. For them, it seems to make sense to be mad at any kind of minor victory for Xbox, and no one else had noticed anyway. So had you just shut up, no one
Well,
would've
because they're always playing the number games every
Right.
Right. That's what's gonna
When
get
it
them in
blows up in their
trouble.
face. Exactly.
Yes.
Like they exposed their own failing by being mad at
Right.
something nobody knew about or noticed. That
Right.
it's like pulling a grenade and holding it for too long on purpose. Like, why would you do that?
Right.
It was kind of dumb.
Like you're letting it cook, but you let it cook too long.
You're right. You're right. And you know another thing, they gotta stop thinking every time Xbox, the name Xbox gets brought up, they gotta stop thinking just consoles, man. That's another thing that gets them
Game
mad.
Pass as well. Yeah.
They can't cage it in. They want to cage Xbox in, and it's not allowing them.
Yep.
You know, it's not allowing them. So our services, our Game Pass is not limited to just console. You know, you can get Game Pass on your PC. You get it on your your tablets, your phones, you know, your consoles,
Your TV.
you know, your TV soon.
Yeah.
And when it hits TV, I don't know what they're gonna do. But you guys gotta stop hating on Game Pass. It's a beautiful thing. I mean, it's common sense. Look, man, and you gotta stop thinking that people are broke or people are get it. Look, but even if that's true, stay out of people's pockets, man. You a man. You a man. You shouldn't be worrying about another man's pocket and what they doing. Because look, because it backfires on you, right? So let's just say that dude's broke, right? He's playing more games. He's playing more games than you right now. Because you're not buying all those games that he asked for $70.
Nope.
Who you kidding? You ain't kidding nobody.
Nope.
You buying all those games that he has on Game Pass for $70? No, you're not.
Nope.
You take pride in being a chump for paying $70 and the fact that we didn't. Like, what is wrong with you?
I'm a lot smarter for getting Game Pass because I'm saving a lot more.
Exactly.
Right. Look, here's the thing. Here's the thing.
I can fix my fence now.
We're going to destroy this whole situation. If you're hating on Game Pass and you got Netflix, Hulu, any of those other
You better turn those off.
network services for movies, you went beyond playing yourself. It's like
You better turn off that cell phone and go to payphone now.
facts. At this point, man, just cut all that off. Go to Walmart, start buying you physical copies of your movies, man. Every last one of them. Every last one of them. And never use it again. Never use those services again.
Stop using Spotify, Vital CDs.
But here's the thing. Here's the funny part about that, right? Here's the funny part about that.
Joel thanks to Game Pass. Thanks to Game Pass. He got a new Mercedes.
Here's the funny part about all of that. Netflix is $1 billion-some company, man.
Yep.
Hulu is in the millions.
Hundreds of millions, for sure.
Hundreds of millions.
No, I think they just went over 100 million for Hulu. But if you're talking about money, like Disney is
Disney and Netflix.
Disney's up there.
I'm glad you mentioned that. Disney Plus.
Disney's only started up.
But
Doesn't
doesn't Disney own Hulu though?
They own a good chunk of it.
Hulu, ESPN.
I'm pretty sure they own. I'm pretty sure they own it because it's a part of the bundle.
It's part of the bundle.
Yeah. That's right. That's how they did it.
Yeah, if you have any of those, stop watching them. Like you already just slapped yourself in the face. Like just stop even talking about Game Pass at this point. And so the numbers are so high that it's almost silly now to even talk about it. Like you can't talk about the same thing that you actually have because it doesn't matter, right? It's services. It doesn't matter what they're using it for. It's services. And just put it like this. Here's the stupid part. Y'all here to tell me that y'all would rather go out to a car dealership and pay for all your vehicles, or if they had a service where you could get any vehicle you want monthly, drive off the showroom floor at your expense by whichever one they decide you can have. And it's yours as long as you're paying a cheap monthly fee. You can ride around in that car, and you can change out daily.
Hey, Leo.
What's up?
There's already a dealership that does that here in Dallas.
Oh wow!
I'm not even kidding. I hear the advertisement on the radio. Somebody's already doing that.
So look.
I'm not even joking.
Yo,
Netflix
At his
brought
horns
about a
right
new type
now.
of business
We
now.
would
It's
be
affecting
blasting the
outside
horn
games.
right now.
Wow.
This
Wow.
is crazy. Yo,
Wow.
somebody's doing it already.
Yeah.
So look, man, at your expense, you're telling me, look, these people can ride out any time of the day they want, swapping cars left and right, swapping.
Well, I mean,
cars.
I'm sure there's conditions, but yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, there's gonna be conditions, but swapping them out left and right. Look, man, if it gravitates to what you do, that makes sense for them. They're doing it. That's the bottom line. For us, we just want to play games. That's the bottom line for a gamer. Now, look, you still have the capabilities to own your games. It's not like the notion of somebody having Game Pass that they just don't buy games or they just don't own games. That's a person that hasn't really paid attention to the analytics of Game Pass. That's already been exposed. This is why Microsoft even created Game Pass, because at first, people, it was a test. Microsoft put it out there as a test. And when they saw the numbers, they was like, yo, we can go ahead and legitimately make this into a stronger service. That's why Game Pass Ultimate was created. So there's factors being involved. There's a certain amount of people who get it, who don't buy games. There's a certain amount of people that get it, who try newer games. That builds the engagement up. And then there's the last group that buy Game Pass and then buy the game that they played on Game Pass. So it's making money. It's not just sitting there. Plus, this thing, and this is going to lead to the next one, this thing is generating hype for developers, man, regardless if they're first-class developers, second-class developers, or indie-class developers. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what class you're in as far as AAA, AA, single A, right? It doesn't matter. You're a gaming developer. You create games. You want to go where you're comfortable.
What's up, Stone King?
You want to go to as many exposure avenues that you can get for your game. You want to get paid as well. That's the bottom line. You want to feed yourself or feed your family, right? So we have devs coming out that are talking about how Game Pass is working so well for them. So now we got the people in the industry. So you don't even have to bother with these little trolls, these little lames out here anymore. Like I said, you just laugh at them. But now the devs are coming out speaking. So upon that notion, why are they talking bad about putting their games on the Sony platform and they're not making no money, man? It's not funny when you're not making money. What's up with that, y'all? Talk to me. They out here talking about they ain't making no money over here. What's good? You mean to tell me you got all these consoles out here, man, and these devs can't make no money?
Exactly. Yeah, those hundreds and millions or whatever they keep talking about that they sold and they can't sell games.
Exactly.
I was watching on Twitter. You had Ariel Knight going back and forth with a Sony fanboy, and he was basically explaining what's going on and why this guy's opinion piece was valid. They didn't even want to respect an actual indie dev's opinion about it. And I wouldn't even call it opinion because he's got his games on the Xbox now, if I'm not mistaken. I know it's on Switch. So these guys, man, sometimes I'm amazed at their creativity about the things that they create. And I hope y'all don't take them seriously, man. I just, like, if I was one of those guys that just was out here to make content about, like, goofy people, I mean, that content is nonstop.
Oh,
you know
yeah.
I mean? Nonstop.
Griffin Gaming and all those guys. They're making whole YouTube careers off of just clowning these guys. There's a legion of them now. They're all making more hits than, a lot of people, I work with here on YouTube. And all they do is just read the articles, make obvious jokes at how stupid these people are. And those videos are popular because everybody feels exactly the way the person in the video feels. They just saying
drama sales as always.
It's preaching to the choir at the same time too. Yeah, it's both in one. So those guys are popular and successful. But the fact that they are is hilarious, man. It's just like y'all just don't get how big of a butt of a joke you are. And I give y'all a perfect example, this whole Game Pass meme thing, right? And Puerto Rock literally didn't get it or whatever. And I think him going nuts about it or pretending he didn't get it, I don't see how he could be that dumb because he.
Oh, you mean where everybody's mentioning how they saved and
right,
they promote it?
Oh,
right.
You gotta read that off. You gotta read that off. We going in today. You gotta read that off.
So why you dig for that? I mean, you gotta pay attention to
read that. We gotta hear that. I gotta get my comedy for the day.
Yeah, but pay attention to the narrative they flip. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like they make no sense. All right. So now it's people in Game Pass, they don't finish games.
Mm-hmm.
So that's supposed to devalue, my experience. Like if people can't figure out which game they want to stick to, that's on them.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So they'll come up with something. There's always going to be something.
Oh yeah.
And that's why, man, this stuff is off of comedy.
Yeah.
It's off of comedy, man. This is not serious gamer talk. That's why I rock with you guys.
Right.
You guys really, y'all like Xbox. I don't know about you, Tech. I know you like it, but I don't know if that's like where you lean or you PC guy. But like Xbox. Okay. So Xbox. if you like what you like, you don't need to talk about the other one all day.
All day. That's
all day.
No.
Yeah.
Because they tried. Some of them tried to say that they thought they had 2 studios, but I mean, at the end, they did end up getting another studio. They tried to put it on the level with Bethesda. Well, no, it would have been 3 because Bluepoint was rumored and they thought it was locked down.
Right.
But what was the other one? Nexus. That wasn't even in the news.
Something.
Right, and it's my theory that when they heard the rumor about it being a studio that could port stuff, they instantly thought of Bluepoint because that's the thought everybody would have thought. Like finally they're buying them to finally put a ring on it, because they should have did that, right? So everybody thought it was Bluepoint, and then it turned out to actually have been Nexus, who also fits the bill. So I think that's what explains that it was never them at all. It was just this is what people assumed before they knew.
What I was getting at is that you got people out there saying that that's on a Bethesda level, right?
Mm-hmm.
But not even within 18 hours, it was already back to Xbox, Xbox sucks.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like we talked about Bethesda, like people had record numbers on all that podcasts when the Bethesda acquisition happened. It was hot.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't really listen. I can't say I listen to any PlayStation podcasts.
I don't either.
I don't because I don't know any of them that are
sensible.
They really care about PlayStation, right? Like, when I said, okay, I'm gonna try the PlayStation and I'm gonna rock the PlayStation. Let me see about some guys because it's the same thing I did with Xbox. And now those guys are flip flop, and they're about to get embarrassed too, and they'll be trying to play the neutral again. Mm-hmm. But I went around. I mean, the chats were just Xbox sucks, Xbox dead. But if it's so dead, why is it the topic of your conversation every show?
Exactly. Yep.
You know what I mean? If it was dead, there would be nothing to talk about. It would be like, you know what? F Game Pass. Game Pass is dead. It's not doing anything. But, they'll get creative. And if I see something that kind of at least has a little bit of intelligence about it, then I'll kind of go at it with somebody on that. But this goofy stuff, I just look at it and keep scrolling.
Yeah. No, it's nuts. I mean, they always will find something to nitpick at just for the sake of nitpicking.
Right.
Yeah. Just to keep it going for themselves because they have nothing else to talk about. And because they truly don't. They really don't. I mean,
it's like I keep saying, like children, like they don't know how to act like adults and say, okay, I don't like this, right? I like this thing over here and I want the best for that. And anything that's not a positive from my side is automatically something I'm supposed to hate. Like that's the way children think, or animals. Like grown adult humans who have sense, just people with sense, don't think and act that way. Look at and the messed up thing about it is, look at the constant contradictions that they have. And I've noticed it just before they showed off the Series X at the Game Awards that first time, right? I started noticing it, but it really picked up after that point, where every single one of their narratives got destroyed one by one, week by week. Right. Every week they got destroyed, right? And that's already been done already, right? At the beginning of this year, like the last few of them were done. And now it's switched into a mode where every week they say something stupid happens with them. Something. Yeah. I don't even know. And that's why you laughed at the right, because I didn't know what to say, what word to put. And that laugh said a lot more than any word I could have ever had thought. It's like some stupid, hilariously dumb thing happens within their community or for their platform, or it's actually a good thing because it's something that Microsoft would have done. Like there's a PC version of one of their games is coming out, right? After the sales has dried up on the console, now they're gonna make more money, and now the PC community could play the game, right? Mm-hmm. Instead of that being a positive thing, like Xbox already does that, right? With the Play Anywhere and all of that thing with Game Pass, right? So, but you made that be seen as a bad thing. So now when Sony is doing it, instead of it being a good thing, now it's this whole back and forth. You look stupid for that whole week until the next thing comes along. It went from all your narratives being destroyed and all the contradictions being exposed to now stupid things just blowing up in your face that you also did. Like, it doesn't end.
Yeah, so they hated that, or they clowned on it because the games are going to PC at the same time as Xbox. So they always said, "Oh my God, you have no exclusives." Okay, and so now that Sony's following as well, it's okay because it's 3-year-old game and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because it's 3 years old.
Oh, that you notice it's shrinking smaller.
It's shrinking, right? Yes. So it will happen one day. Who knows?
Eventually, every excuse, everything they could say will have been run out. So because examples will have happened that already.
A PlayStation game that took 3 years to come out on PC is now day one on PC. What are they going to say?
It's already happening sooner and sooner. Every time they announce a new game, it's taking less time than the last one did to come to PC.
Yes.
Yep.
I mean, but the Xbox was created in the first place because Microsoft was concerned about people leaving PC for console. Right. Microsoft is PC. I mean, that's where they made their money. That's who they are. So the fact that they want to include them again, I don't have a problem with that. I mean, I believe console players are console players, and PC players are PC players.
That's right.
Two different types of people. Yeah.
I had a guy saying, "Oh, PC sales are growing, but everything is growing during this
pandemic." That's great,
exactly, bro. Talk about it.
Everything. My kids are growing. They grow. I'm like, oh, that's two guys.
Facts.
Yeah, mine's are growing.
I tell people like my big bro old school say, green grows, man.
Well, PC guys getting our games day one. It takes nothing away from me. I don't even think about it. I don't wait till launch day like, oh my God, you know what? Halo just came out. I can't believe it came out on PC. Now my whole day is ruined.
Some of us are like, oh, it's coming to PC. I'll play it over there and I can still play with my console. That's how they thinking instead. Like, that's how we thinking on this side. Over there where you were at, you sitting there being upset.
It's all doom and gloom for them. Like, Xbox is doomed because it's like, we don't think that at all.
More people to play with on the games, like the crossplay.
When I look at my match, I'm like, oh great, I got a PC guy. I need to turn off that crossplay.
Sometimes you think that though, but if it's a fighting game or something, hey, it depends on the game. You're not gonna have to worry about that. So it's more compete with, it's more everything. But you have the option.
Yeah.
On the other side, they choose it for you, or that they're choosing for themselves, or rather in their best interest, and then telling you why it's good for you, which is a complete lie. Because it's really just all good for them.
Yeah.
Because we are hearing now with all these leaks and whatnot, they're charging these developers, even if they're allowed to do the crossplay. They're charging them. They're doing all types of shenanigans behind the scenes. Look at this whole indie situation. When last generation started, Sony was the indie darling. Look at limited run games. I was talking about this yesterday. Limited run games, okay? A lot of those indie games and stuff, eventually you see a release by limited run games. That's for multiple reasons why they would do that on PlayStation and not on Xbox. Until this E3 that just passed, they announced that they're finally going to start releasing titles on Xbox as well. But the thing was, the minimum orders on PlayStation were low. The cost was low, right? Even they were doing Vita stuff up until the week before they announced that they were going to close the store. None of the developers knew. They were still making stuff. They were still releasing stuff. Sony would still print the discs because the minimum orders and stuff were low cost, and Microsoft wasn't focused on any of that anymore because the people at Xbox at that point, we know the names, they just weren't about what their forebearers were about. Okay, thankfully they're gone, and we got real G's in action now. But at that time, Xbox didn't have those folks in charge, so they, all that work they put in Xbox.
People still think those people back then are still in charge today. But Xbox, remember when they hated indie games, but they're not here no more, so it's not the same people.
And they're the ones who brought in the games on in this console space to begin with.
Oh, wait a minute.
They're the ones who put the shine on indie games.
Wait a minute.
Xbox Live Arcade.
Indie games?
Mm-hmm.
Did we say that? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
indie games.
Two things we're going to drop into. Somebody finally said that word. It was just all good just a week ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was talking about how they don't rush into buying developer teams, how they are right. Very selective. It's very confidential and serious.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna put all the cake and icing on this one. We go to the actual gaming combine. We look at the best of the best. Yo, we look at the best of the best. We line them up. We make them go through drills. We see who's the best out there. Rigorous training. Only the best of the best come to the Sony platform, and then that's what they had to say about Microsoft getting all these acquisitions. And mind you, that Microsoft was getting their acquisitions with their close friends of 25 years ago, where these companies have shared their gaming experiences with one another. They've actually helped each other along the way, right? For 25 years, all right? So they're trying to compare this situation to that situation. But it's funny. But let's read about this. Phil Spencer congratulates Sony and Horsemark, right? Says dismissing acquisition is short-sighted, right? Yeah. Xbox Phil Spencer took on Twitter to congratulate Sony for acquiring Returnal Studios Housemarque, right? And told IGN that he thinks dismissing mergers and acquisition is short-sighted, which we all know he's right. He's speaking facts. Following Microsoft's acquisition of ZeniMax Media, there was a lot of debate in the industry about the impact of acquisitions. See, it started with Microsoft. Microsoft started this earthquake. Now that's known. So look, when you think about feelings, it has went beyond the Sony fans, right? It's went beyond Donkeyville. This shattered the industry when this happened. This put everybody in their feelings, even the gaming media, even the journalists.
Excuse me, I'll be right back.
No, you good. All of these areas got their feelings all in a bond, right? And Phil Spencer said, following Microsoft's acquisition of ZeniMax Media, there was a lot of debate in the industry about the impact of acquisition. Spencer said that he noticed some negative reactions to the move and suggested that M&As are a healthy part of business, right? Speaking to IGN, Spencer said, I know sometimes I see dialogue out in the industry about, well, are acquisitions a good thing or a bad thing? One thing I'll put out there is this. Starting a new studio, starting any small business, frankly, is a very risky proposition. Starting a video game studio, even more so. And if a team actually takes the risk of starting a new company, starting a new studio, building that over years, building value in that, to say they shouldn't sell, I think is just short-sighted. Now, Spencer went on to add that smaller studios often benefit from the financial security and resources offered by bigger companies, making acquisitions a valuable proposition for them. It's such a risk-filled journey for them to get to the point to create real value, right? I'm always going to congratulate when teams get to the point where they realize that value through acquisition or just massive independent success. Many of those leaders will go off and start other things over time. It's kind of a natural turnover that happens with entrepreneurs and startup businesses. So this just goes to show you that Phil Spencer understands the overall aspect of acquisitions. He's seeing not just the beginning, he's seeing the end results. Because what a lot of these trolls and lames don't understand and fake gamers don't get, right, is that Phil Spencer himself was a gaming developer. And look where he's at today. So he understands that anytime these developers can get somewhere and be concrete in their bag, taking care of their families or taking care of themselves, can help them in the future to make a move that will better increase their momentum in the industry and give them an avenue for more success for what they love to do. So we have to understand that we have somebody that you can learn from, that you have somebody that sees it. He's telling you he sees it. But that's not going to stop him from congratulating devs. Like we said, devs are not enemies of Microsoft, and we're going to point this out. This is a beautiful show today. I just want to clap for this show today. Clap for this show today, because I don't have a horn like Tech, so I'm gonna clap for this show today.
You got that Jamaican horn?
Yeah, we don't have
the DJ horn.
Right? Yeah.
But look, hey, but you know, anybody who's ever been in business or worked closely with somebody who's like a small business, he even addressed that too. But like a lot of people, they don't really understand business. Like they think of everything like black and white. Most businesses fail.
Right.
You know, I had a guy ask me, why is Microsoft buying dying studios? The studios are dying because they don't have money.
Right.
I mean, but that's normally when a larger company would come in to acquire, because you're gonna get a good price, and they need a lifeline, and you see the potential. The only thing that they're missing is resources.
That's it.
So if you listen to what he said, I can't remember. I think it's IGN, but it's not exclusive to gaming. Most businesses fail in 2 years. That's just how it works. And everybody in some of these companies are lucky if somebody sees something in them to where they would even want to acquire them. You know what I mean? It's not like they went and acquired somebody who's not over there in the Netherlands making games. You know what I mean? They just needed the resources to go over there and make that extra footage. They didn't acquire a bad studio. They acquired a studio that needed a little help. But that's what most of them. I mean, Compulsion's got pedigree. And I don't understand why these people are complaining about these acquisitions. I mean, if they are not making good games, but they got the potential to make good games, are you going to buy the games?
Right. It's just like we said, man. They're trying to make things fit only in gaming. All right, Di-RRec Gaming, a few more comrades down the street who speak from the heart, who shoot from the hip, have said this. When we used to say, yo, being a fan of a preferred console base, there's nothing wrong with that. Because there for a while, you know, people were pushing the narrative of the fanboy movement. There was a fanboy movement. So, you know, because they couldn't destroy your heart with Xbox, you suck, or something was wrong with you because all you had was an Xbox and all you play is Xbox games. That was a real situation, and that was a real movement at one point. But it took real gamers to say, listen, man, that does not fly. It's not going to fly here. It's a good try, but it's not going to fly here. I wear the Texas Rangers hat, right? I'm a Texas Rangers fan. I go to the Texas Rangers games.
Loyal.
Yo, Tech over there. He's a Houston Astros fan. You don't see Texas Rangers in his household. It exists. Now, do we hate each other? Do you ever hear? I'm talking about on a continued basis. You do hear this stuff every now and then, but do you ever hear fans in the Coliseum tearing each other up because this guy down here has a Raiders jersey on, and this guy over here has a Patriots jersey on, and they're going to fight each other?
That only happens at Dodger Stadium.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You don't really, exactly. You don't hear that, you know, because people understand that it's just fandom. It's, hey, and these two teams are in this Coliseum. They're in the arena. They're playing against each other. They have their fans, right? So Xbox has its fans, PlayStation has its fans, Nintendo has its fans. And listen, more power to you. If you want to come out here and buy every console and every PC there is on God's green earth and just, I have all of them because I just enjoy gaming. Well, man, listen, here goes that situation that Sick was saying. Well, damn it. If you have all of that going for you, why are you on Twitter? Why are you on Twitter?
You should be super busy playing something.
You got too much gaming to do for you to even be on Twitter to express that urgency of feeling that you had to tell everybody on Twitter that you just got everything and you just love gaming. Well, we're glad that you love gaming because here's breaking news for you. We do too. We just love it on the Xbox brand. You get it? It's that simple. And on another thing y'all got to stop twisting up and stop getting all emotional over is when devs make moves. This is normal in the industry. Devs, look, it's normal anywhere, right? They sit up here and they talk about, like Eli was saying, they talk about these small dev groups, right, who are trying to be successful. When we look in the NBA or any sports team, right? Tell me, y'all, is there such thing as franchise deals? And when that person gets a franchise deal, he's locked into that team for so many years, and they're paying him large sum of money because they think that this guy is going to bring them to the championship or give them that notoriety of stability to where they're making more money than what they're making now. So there are such things as deals called franchise deals. Nobody has a problem with that. Nobody's running around mad because somebody got a deal.
What it do, baby? They
got a deal. I mean, this is why it's silly out here. You can't make the narrative fit for you just because you're mad because Xbox is being successful. But yet you're living out the very thing that you're hating about Xbox doing, but you're living it out. You know, somebody can tell you, yo, man, Paul
and
George
they do it
got
weekly.
5 more years for $150 million, and you're like, oh, really? Yo, I'm about to
almost daily now.
Jersey. What?
Yeah.
But you over here hating on small devs for signing big acquisition numbers to companies so they can chill out, man, and take care of their families. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Yo, during the season, you have an option to trade. Right?
Yeah, I know.
It's called the trading deadline, right? So that company can trade you to another team. Devs do the same thing. Yo, things ain't working right, they can leave. They're not under the contract. They fulfill the little contract. They can go. Why do you think over here in Microsoft they're letting them be free now? They're like, yo, we need your expertise. Hey, they need some help. They're going over there. Hey, we need your expertise. We need your help. They're going over there. Everybody is running around helping everybody else out in studios. Microsoft is bringing that magic that you normally wouldn't see to their platform. They got devs who would have probably never worked with each other in their lives that are now working with each other, and they know each other. Let's take one more thing before I stop. But I want to tell people, you also got to get this out of your mind that devs don't know each other and they're not cool with each other and they're just enemies and they hate each other. You got to stop that.
Stop it.
Particularly in the devs, they don't care what they don't have no time for that. It's like what I keep trying to tell folks about the PC crowd, and they have that same mentality about certain things. It's not personal or nothing. It's straight facts. And developers, no matter what platform they develop on, they all see it the same way because they all live it the same way, no matter what platform that they develop on. And sometimes they develop for multiple at a time.
Now, Sick.
They don't.
Now, Sick. We're not going to sit here and act like some of them are loyal to the brand.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. Right. Like as I was mentioning Nintendo, like in the back of my mind, I was thinking exactly that. That, like, for example, you got some people who's at Nintendo. They started there, whatever, would never think to leave, right? It's kind of ironic that Kojima ever left Konami and other folks who actually had left Konami, but that's more Konami's fault than their fault. But just goes to show there's many people who work for many companies you can never see leaving one way or another.
And who is he with right now? Who did he sign the deal with right now? He's over there making moves on Microsoft.
Oh, yeah.
Signing the deals.
With a letter of intent. First it was with Google, but Google, I mean, we all see how bad of a situation that was. That ship was sinking when it was still in port being built. It was already taking on water. So
these donkeys think that he's supposed to be loyal to them. He's not loyal to you. He's loyal to his bag.
He got burnt by Konami.
You're not loyal to him.
And then Sony, with the way he probably sees from the way he's talking, burnt him. But Sony really didn't burn him. It's just that his game didn't sell.
His game didn't sell. That's why Konami got off of him too. His games
he
are
had an idea, and they didn't go all the way with his ideas, so it didn't work to his potential.
Right.
That's why Death Stranding had mass of dreams in that game. He had a lot of things that he was gonna go do for that game. But hey, man, he realized Sony don't have the resources for that, man. Can't power your dreams over there, bro.
Yeah, it just goes to show
power your daydream.
It's facts.
You can't power your dreams, man.
Hey, man, the game wasn't good enough. It doesn't really sell neither. Dreams doesn't sell neither. So
I wonder if Spencer told them that. Say, yo, Kojima. He's like, what? You could power your dreams here.
Facts, you know.
Man, it's ridiculous though. It's ridiculous.
Game Pass gives him the route to where he can burn the way he wants to. I mean, if we're honest, man, his games, it's big for the brand, you know, but his games are acquired taste. I mean,
yeah, they are.
Even like the Metal Gear games,
right, Eli.
The Metal Gear games, like people liked them, but Konami didn't see the returns they wanted. But one thing I give Kojima is credit on.
Well, they did, but this last one, that fifth one, that was when he wanted way more because he was doing that whole engine. And in fact, they had to start using their soccer game on that engine to validate all the money they were putting into it. And he was getting extra Kojima, right? Like he had extra Kojima on him, those couple of years. So he was going extra nuts with them. So they were like, you know what? We're getting rid of this dude and just dumping the whole situation. But in general, I see what you're saying, but his situation was just a little extra with Metal Gear 5.
Look, I'm gonna tell you, man. I watched this guy, man, probably like a month ago because I was really trying to figure out people's, affinity for him, and he broke down his whole timeline from Nintendo all the way till now, and his games, like you got a lot of people that say they like them, but they hardly ever did what Konami wanted them to do, as far as hitting the numbers they wanted. Because Konami's not a huge company, so we might think it's good, but Konami didn't think it's good, and that's just about the documentary that I watched from that guy. But I'll give him his credit; he stays faithful to his vision, and if you don't want me, then leave me. He's not going to change what he wants to do, his vision. Yeah. Because if you listen to that documentary, if you want it, I'll look and find it. He has been going against the grain with pretty much everything he's ever done.
Right.
Yeah. And he stays faithful to that. Now, and I'll give him his props to that. But somebody's got to fund that too, though.
Look what Eli just said. Now imagine this dude, since he's been going against the grain, imagine this dude with all the freedom he gets. Imagine what's going to happen.
Yeah, I'm curious to see it.
Sony didn't have a bank account to do that. They literally didn't.
Well, Sony needed him to hit a number too, though. You know what I mean? Game Pass, you don't need to hit a number.
No,
you know what I mean? And that's what Game Pass is all about. Like everything doesn't need to sell 10 million.
That's right.
With Sony, you need these games to sell 15, 20 million to say, oh, we're gonna make a sequel. You know what I mean? If you're gonna keep what Dead Space everybody's asking for, it's not doing what it didn't do what EA wanted it to do, even though a lot of people say, oh, it's great and we need it back. Horror games, that's a niche genre, period.
It's true, but I think what happened with Dead Space and with a lot of games, I don't think it's really the games didn't do well or not make money or fit projections or nothing like that. It's sometimes they do for a while and then it gets tired. So by the third or fourth game,
well,
and they put it in the vault or whatever, or they just stop messing with it because they really feel like this ain't hitting like it used to. They put that away. One day when they have an idea, maybe we'll pull it back out. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. Sometimes they have to be dragged into that though. Sometimes.
How many more Dead Spaces can there be? You know, you got number 1. Great. It was awesome. I thought it was fantastic. I own it. Number 2 came out. Yes, we got some more Dead Space. Number 3, cool. We closed it out. And now what are you gonna do with 4 and 5? And it's just like it's gonna
make
like,
more Dead Space.
It's gonna be like Friday the 13th and Freddy Krueger.
Right.
You know,
how many just clear out more space, make Dead Space, and keep going.
Hey, how many bad movies do people continue to go see? Like Fast and the Furious gets progressively worse each time people say it. It does. Right? But they keep making it because it's making money. Not every Call of Duty that comes out is hot, but if it keeps selling, they're gonna keep making it.
Yeah. Yep.
Madden, people complain about it every year.
And you don't
but they're gonna bring out another one.
Exactly. It's just not for you. Because apparently, because apparently people are eating off of that.
EA Play, chilling.
Right. Yep. Apparently, people are eating off of that. Like, all these Transformer movies or all these, Star Wars movies that everybody says they don't like, but they sell gangbusters. They make records all the damn time. Even this Call of Duty.
Well, it gets to the point where the fan would say, "This is the one. This is This is gonna be the good one."
There's enough people, so it doesn't matter to us. Just ignore it.
This all goes back to what I'm saying though. If it did the numbers they wanted, they would find a new storyline for Dead Space 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
But I think, what happens is, in a situation like that, it's actually a combination of doing well and not doing well. Like, it does well at first, then after a while it gets tired, and then it don't do well on the third or whatever the last one is. Like, that'll be the worst selling one, and they see it as not worth investing on this franchise anymore.
Let's say it gets tired.
Sometimes ideas, it's tired or whatever.
Let's say it got tired at 20 million. We get another one.
Yeah. We'll get another one. Put that away. Maybe one day she'll go back in the gym. She'll be, hot again. I can put it back on the track. But for now, in the trap house. You stay over there, and we'll move on. But listen,
when you're shooting in the gym.
But listen, when I had left earlier, we were talking about these indies, and I really wanted to get back on something I wanted to say about that because I felt it was kind of related to some of the things you were saying before, and this one article that New Legal was talking about. So remember when I was saying before how, limited run, like the minimum orders with PlayStation were real low. So like the cost wasn't very high and all of that. But also with that came when they were about to kill the Vita and these guys still have games in print or whatever, or about to be printed or whatever, or about to be released. And they didn't know that because there's no communication. Like, once again, the whole indie situation fell into Sony's lap. They just so happened that their competition ain't focused on indies, and they were the ones who put indies on in the first place. Okay, who gave them a place to eat at the table, right?
Right.
Microsoft did that in the first place. Then you look at, Sony is not charging a lot for discs because they print so many because they expect to sell so many, but really don't. So, but they already invested in the production facility. So printing discs don't cost nothing. So they pass that cost on to anybody who wants to make discs. So in comes limited run, right? All these situations just fall into place, but not by design. I don't want to say by luck, but more like coincidence. So it's luck when a lot of coincidences come together to make something that's a positive for you. That's not really your influence. It just happens to work out for you in that beneficial way. That's what luck is, when these coincidences come together. And that's what I feel happened with Sony in these indies. And then you see it now, how that same coin flips on its side when indie developers are criticizing Sony over poor communication. Like, they're about to kill one of the platforms, but don't tell no developers. They have to hear it like we all heard it. Okay? And we all heard it as rumor first before it was even confirmed. Like, the rumor normally should have come from these developers who heard first, and they leaked it out to the general public, and that's how we, the public, would have heard. But they didn't hear nothing either, because Sony didn't tell them nothing, because they were never really focused on this to begin with. All of this was kind of like just was happening to work out for them, and now it just happens not to be anymore because they never were doing nothing with it. It just ebbed and flowed that way, and they luck, and now it's not. Like a lot of the things that worked out for Sony last generation wasn't their doing. Frankly, the entire PlayStation platform in its entirety, except for maybe the PS1, but even that, it went up against lackluster competition. When the greats in the industry were at their worst, that's when PlayStation came on. Every PlayStation console was successful because their competition sucked. Less about what they did well. And I mean that factually. As someone who spent $800 on import Japanese PS1, I mean that. Still.
Yeah, that's facts. That's facts.
Yeah, when you look at, they don't talk to indie developers. They don't. It's because it's the Wild Wild West. The SDK is the same one they've been using for a while. We see it on the PS5, and we know from developers, they said it's generally the same SDK. Their SDK has been set in stone for ages, so the indie developers don't need to talk to Sony about how to use the SDKs. Make sure at least it works with no bugs. Maybe it may not be as feature-filled, or maybe not as their competitors. Who knows, right? I'm not trying to imply they aren't, but generally they don't seem to have a problem with it, right? So these indies wouldn't have to ask for Sony for for technical kind of support or anything like that, because it just works. It should, because it's the same thing. But when they do have problems, when they have these new hardware, when they need more support in 2021, when games, even indie games, have to do more than the basics. They can't just be 16-bit games anymore. They got to be online. They got to have better. Now you had another echelon of development where now you need intimate contact with the platform maker, in this case Sony, but Sony don't mess with people at your level, and they never had experience in that. Because
when they needed them, they did.
When they needed them, they did, but they were only talking the talk but never walking the walk. They talked the talk that they loved the indies, but as we see from all these articles, they never did anything for them. They never did anything for them. It just fell into their lap. So the indies had nothing to complain about. But as they evolved as developers, as game requirements require more, as gamers require more of even indie games like online playing and other minimum things now, right? Because even indie games will push technology forward. Indie game will do that all the time. That's always been a part of gaming history. So now when these developers need help, Sony can't help them because they've never been used to even talking to these people. Like, they would just let them eat and profit off of them with no effort. They don't even know how to put in effort to work with these developers. And they're complaining about this left and right with tweets and all types of stuff. PlayStation sucks for indie devs.
Yeah, I saw that. That dev was going off, bro. That dev was lighting it up.
Yeah, he said, yeah, PlayStation sucks for indie devs. We've sold like trash on there compared to other big consoles. And
you know what, man? I'm glad you said that, because you know what? That's something, man, that's okay. Look, it's not something that Sony can retract on, right? Mm-hmm. You're talking about something that Sony made apparent a couple years ago. Mm-hmm. When they said, look, man, we're going after more cinematic movie, soap opera, walkthrough, hold your hand, CGI.
I'm gonna put the article in the chat.
Very movie cinematic experience. We want to walk you through step by step. Want you to get emotionally attached. We want you to, fall in love with these characters. We want you to start feeling like these characters can be your boyfriend, your girlfriend, whatever they got to do, man, to shake you up emotionally. They're all about it. They're not gonna get that on a smaller level. They want to invest on nothing but exclusive content. That's all they're gonna choke you out with. This is why you get, you guys used to tell us for years and years and years that all we do is play Halo, Forza, Gears, and that's it. Y'all used to say that's all we play. You would throw Fable in there when Fable existed. So those four will be the games that y'all say we always play. But it's mighty funny to me, Sick. It's mighty funny to me, Eli, that after all those years, right, how many new IPs have they gotten that continue? And what are they still playing today? It was just last month, Ratchet and Clank. Ratchet and Clank.
No one cared a week later, literally.
it went empty because Ratchet and Clank got exposed.
Mm.
But we already knew. Look, man, this isn't a look.
Exposed or not, you know how the news cycle is anyway. Unless the game is that hot, like Outriders was.
Went right. No, okay.
It's not in the zeitgeist anymore. People forget instantly.
Listen, man. When something starts to sound corny, we've been here too long. We've been here to know this stuff. So it's not like we're lost. It's in the language. Like I said, the culture has its own language and its own feeling to ride upon, right? We know when we hear something. Like Six said in the previous shows, I don't need a gaming journalist to come out and tell me something for me to feel validated on. That's what I've been feeling all along. Like, or I haven't studied and seen it myself as a gamer all along. Like the problem with the gaming community is they don't believe in what they feel or what they see, Sick. So when they start to feel a certain way or believe a certain situation, they want to feel validated. Instead of coming on out and saying, calling it what it is, instead of saying what it is, this is the same thing why Sick brought up my girl, Andrea. Why she got picked on. Because Andrea is a person that doesn't sit on doubt on what she sees and what she believes. It's right there in her face. So when she comes out with a tweet saying, look, there's double standards. Check this out. 3 months ago, they were saying this. Today, they're saying this. So how can you take these people seriously? What's going on out here? This is the gaming journalist. You should be able to speak truth, educate your community, let people know why you're in a position you are, show that it makes sense that you're in the position that you are. Be a leader out here. But your company has you to where the more ironic or the more dumb it sounds, that generates more views, that generates more clicks. And we've gotten to a point as a gaming community where they were never in our community in the beginning. The gaming journalists and stuff came way after, right? Way after. It's not the original stuff. That's not the original stuff. We were doing this stuff, like I said, in parks and playgrounds, at schools, and in our neighborhoods and things. They came later on down the line. But what we're doing is we're trading off what we know that's inside of us to people that we don't even know, that don't care nothing about you. They don't. What I mean by that is they're not paying your bills. They're not feeding you. They're not giving you something to drink. They don't even go to bed with you. Just sitting up in here, acting, holding on to every single thing in your soul because you're too coward to speak about something as a gamer. That's the sad part. Which you're totally going against the whole rules of being a gamer right there. When you don't speak out on what you know, you're going against the #1 law of being a gamer. That's just it. You rather wait for them to say something and then you feel validated. This is why the majority of the community is like it is. You wonder why we have the dummies still hanging around. The dummies are here, and you're going to hear this on Di-RRec Gaming. I'm going to let you know why the dummies are still here. The dummies are still here, not because people don't know that they're dumb or lame or whatever you want to call them. They're here because they are the instruments of folks' feelings. The dummy's going to say what I'm too coward to say. So I need the dummy here to say it for me. And I'll put a like. When he says something dumb about Xbox, I'm going to put a like there. That's why the dummy is here. You can call their names out all day long. That's not getting rid of them. That's weakness. The only way you get rid of them is paying them no attention. Because the dummies are linked to this emotional wave culture. That's how they built their empire. They didn't build their empire doing like we do or like some others do. It's going to sound like this. It's going to feel like this. This is what gaming talk is about. Then you have the ones who are the ones that are tied to the industry. So when they're tied to the industry, that's the Kumbaya boys. Who, what I mean by that is, I'm down for the Kumbaya. Don't get me wrong. But like I said, I never will abandon.
But it has to be real and genuine.
Right.
You can't be contradicting yourself all day and then want to be Kumbaya when it's to your advantage. We see that too.
Exactly. But watch this, Sick. I'm gonna even go deeper than that because you're right. But watch this. I'm good with the Kumbaya, right? But the number one law of being a gamer is calling things out. The funny part about them is they're not going to call the obvious out. What's obvious, they're not going to call out. So I can't rely on them. They're just a part of the problem. Or every time something pops off, they want to bring up the streets. But yet when somebody in the industry pop off, you don't hear nothing from them. You don't hear nothing from them. And all we got to do is keep serving these donkeys carrots, right? Because we love them. Serve them some carrots here, go buy $300 worth of a bale there, throw it out in the field. And they're happy. So we can calm them down. We're almost telling them, look, man, Game Pass ain't bad. Calm down. It's not the end of the world. Nobody's snatching your physical copies up.
In fact, we're selling more for you. We really are. Look at MLB. You weren't selling. We're selling for you. Just
facts.
Calm down.
Keep on it.
Literally, like that was the thing. Eli was speaking around it, but maybe he said it when I was gone. But I figured that was one of the points he was coming to. Like they talk all this talk, but they don't sell. They talk all this talk about Game Pass. We know for a fact that more games are selling on Game Pass than not. Like people are who pay for Game Pass or buying games full on to own. So even if they don't pay for Game Pass, they still own the game. Game sales are going up. That's what happened to MLB. It's selling like crazy now on everything, including PlayStation. The sales went up on there too. But because everybody's got it now. That's better for you. More sales on PlayStation. More validation of the platform you claim to love, but don't buy games or beat games on ever. Like, it's still doing better than it did before. What's your problem?
Yeah, I mean, once you expand to another platform, I mean, it's just common sense. You're gonna sell more of what you offer. Right. But the thing about Game Pass, all right, I've heard.
Hold on, Eli. Hold that right there. Eli nailed it. It's the reason why Spider-Man being on the PlayStation never made sense. Go ahead, Eli.
Yeah, it never made sense, but Sony's slowly realizing it too. I mean, the more like that they show that they're about to expand, the more that they say, "Oh, they can't do it. It's going to take 3 years." No, they need it now. I mean, you can't. So if you're going to say I'm going to sell it to another group in 3 years, I mean, how many reviews, videos? A lot of people.
What they bought Nix's for.
Yeah, a lot of people play these games through vicariously through YouTubers and streamers. They're not playing these games. So, long story short, what I'm saying is that they're going to start expanding to more platforms. And the reason, when I was going to talk about with Game Pass, the reason why they sell more games on Game Pass, I've heard it being called that, and I can't disagree with it. It's basically a demo service. I mean, if you have all these games, you can't play them all. So the ones that you know that you won't have time to get around to, you play them. You know you'll like it and you'll like it later, so you go ahead and buy it for later and jump on to something else. So they'll always be able to sell games from Game Pass. That's why it'll start to get bigger and bigger with the AAA developers releasing their games sooner, if not day one in Game Pass.
Yeah, look at Outriders. Like, there's gonna be more and more situations. Like, and another thing I was mentioning about Outriders, I don't think I had said it out right, but Outriders probably did better than Ratchet and Clank ever will. Because if it was,
I don't say probably.
Well, why not? Definitely, because
I don't know how. I mean, it's already proven his point. It's not even ever. It's proven his point right now in the present.
Right, people still talking about it.
The engagement speaks for itself.
Exactly my point. Like a week after Ratchet and Clank released, nobody was talking about it anymore. Right? Yeah. Like we talk about it to talk about the fact that we don't talk about it.
What happened to Returnal?
Game.
It's over.
We don't talk about it to talk about it. We talk about the fact that we don't talk about it to bring it up about the fact that nobody cares about it anymore. That's the only reason those two games are brought up. But Outriders, like it was in the zeitgeist for at least a
Still
month.
talking about it. Still
People were still playing and talking. And there's probably more people playing that game right now, months afterwards,
right.
than are people are playing Ratchet and Clank. Ratchet and Clank is brand
Dark
new.
Alliance right now more than
more. I don't know about that, but I don't know one way or another. Like I just can't gauge how successful it is in my own mind because I haven't been following, so I don't want to say one way or another. I'm totally uneducated on it. No, I'm totally uneducated on it, so I don't want to speak on it. But yeah, it just goes to show though. You talk, but you don't walk your walk. That's why even though you sold it's got to be 120 plus million systems, you didn't sell no games.
Pity the food.
Because otherwise it would have happened with the show, and it didn't.
That's right.
Until they were
praying. Yo, they was praying for the show. They was praying for the show not to be successful, bro. Oh man, they were praying
because they knew it would prove all the bullshit they were saying wrong, but they already knew because, like I said earlier, that's the way it's been going since just before they announced the Series X at the Game Awards. Like it started from way back then. I remember still like people were starting to question these narratives that these PlayStation fans were making, or fanatics, let's say, right? But the cult of PlayStation, I like to call them nowadays. It's really cultish. It really is, right? So from then, each one of those narratives destroyed, and now that contradictions come out, they too see the writing on the wall. That's why they wish for it to not be.
That's why
they knew it would be, but they knew it would be, and it proved everything else, and they didn't want to be exposed, and they exposed them.
Yo, look at that Griefon situation.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you even charge people twice? Why? Makes no sense.
Because you
think that with the Spider-Man. Go ahead, Eli.
I was gonna say because you think you can. They do
exactly.
They do what they think the people will accept. Like if people really complain, all right, they might complain, but your complaints do no good if you still go out and buy it. So nothing's really gonna change. They know that those guys, okay, they can cry about Ghost. But I've heard so many people say, I'm gonna go buy it again and platinum it again. And these same people are complaining about the price increases or the actual content that they're buying. So that's why I say you can't really pay attention to these dudes, man.
Nah.
But also on MLB, bro, I think they said it's 8 years. I mean, I knew the MLB was going to be a hit on Xbox.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's in even in the grand scheme, it's the smallest. Well, next to hockey, I think hockey's last, but as far as popularity, baseball is third. Yeah. So you can't try to grow its visibility, just put it on one platform, and you're selling about 1.5 million per year from that one group of people. You know what I mean? MLB has a big initiative on growing its visibility, and so they feel like that game is a big part of it. And I don't think they would ever do that exclusivity again. NFL is in a spot where it doesn't matter. Like us four can get together and learn how to put something together, look like Tecmo Bowl, and it'll sell because people love football.
Right, but see, like Madden will sell because it's still multi-platform. Like for the end users, it doesn't hurt them. We all get the game on whatever platform, even PC. As of recently, they've been updating that version. Even usually with new generations of consoles, they start updating the PC version again. So I'm sure it'll be left to the wayside soon enough. But either way, but with football, it's on every platform. So I don't think that's the problem. Like we as gamers have to say, it's a problem because EA will get lazy and there's no competition like they had with 2K to keep them on the up and up and still developing. But hey, that ship sailed a long time ago. Unless Madden gets real egregious, all of a sudden, it's going to stay that way. The NFL has no reason to change. MLB had a reason to change, right? Will the NHL have a reason to change? I kind of doubt it. Is it hockey on every platform too?
Yeah, but a lot of people don't realize EA stopped making baseball games. 2K stopped making baseball games. I remember 2K was trying to give away $1 million for people, as a prize to try to get people to get interested in the game. And I actually liked 2K. I had Lincecum on the cover. I think that's the last one.
Yeah. I know. Remember the one.
But hockey as well. there's a group of people who play those games. It's not huge. But also, when it comes to football, 2K made a better football game. There are people still playing that, playing that one with Teal on the cover. And
that was the best one ever, bro. It was really the ABC Monday Night Football 25th anniversary. Right. That's what it really was. It was just too long to say that, so they just said
2K5. Yep. But we also got to realize is that Take-Two has risen in stature since this whole deal started with the exclusivity. So I'm banking on them being able to weasel their way in somehow. And hopefully
that's only if NFL feels the need. And I'm saying, and my point is, I don't think they feel the need. Maybe with the NHL, but if Take-Two can spit the right game into the right ear, right? Then maybe they could, but otherwise with football, I don't think so. But with hockey, I think that's more possible.
What do y'all think about
real quick, legal? What's the one thing the NFL wants more than anything?
Money.
And that's the whole reason why this exclusivity deal exists. 2K is in a spot where I think they're bigger than EA. I'll look it up next time when you get on.
Right, but
they're in a position where they can say, "Hey, we'll give you this for us to be able to make a game." Back when 2K they were selling their game for $20. There was no competition. They could not bid with EA for that. Now they can. If I'm not mistaken, they're bigger than EA right now.
Yeah, I was going to say, you see what they're doing with Madden now, man. Madden had to make a change. Had to get more realistic, man. Has to get more to the grind of football. They can't just keep on inching away now. We're in the next generation, and people demand next generational gameplay. I like what Madden is looking like for the 2022 for the season. I like what they're doing, man. But this is what I'm talking about. When you don't have no competitors, your leisure, man. Madden was getting boring to their fan base because it was just the same old thing, man. Year after year, they didn't have nobody to compete with them, and they knew that. That was the reason they did it. But now, with a new
it doesn't really matter anymore. I don't think the people don't care enough. That's the problem. Like the NFL is making enough money not to question nothing. Like Take-Two would have to spit the right game in the right ear, and that game better be tight.
Well, I don't think it matters, bro. I was wrong. EA is double the worth of Take-Two.
Yeah, but Take-Two has enough money where they both at an echelon where I don't think money matters. They both got enough to execute whatever plan.
They can execute, but I don't think that matters. I think it'll be a bidding war. I think that Madden exclusivity means more to EA than it would to Take-Two.
Yeah,
have some hits that break records every time they drop.
You make your point right there. That makes the whole point right there because that's the key thing. Like they could bid higher and just do it that way. They keep it to themselves.
It's worth more to them
before they become something, right? And this is something that they make their name on. That's guaranteed money for them.
Yeah, because Rockstar has games. You got BioShock. You got all these other games that Take-Two does. But as far as EA, recently they've had a bad rep.
Yeah,
and even though people complain about Madden, they still buy it and they still spend a lot of money in the old Ultimate Team. So it's worth more to them, and they can outspend them. So we might be stuck with just having 2K on the arcade football.
Okay, here's the thing about that. Like, I haven't followed that for a long time because I remember they did the one where who's a rapper who was in the commercials? Oh my god. Yo, my Brooklyn card is gonna get revoked if I don't remember his name quick. And he wasn't even from Brooklyn. Jesus Christ. Not Kumodi. He beefed with Kumodi. But anyway, dude was in the commercial and they made an all-star because it was 2K without the license.
Oh, right? Okay, yeah.
Right?
I don't remember though.
And so they made basically 2K without the license with a bunch of classic players and stuff like that. Like that was a great football game, but without the NFL license, it didn't matter. Right? So it was just like that's the thing about it. The people just don't care anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole thing about it is your fantasy.
I'll tell you what. Mad fans are gonna take care of their game.
Yeah. That's the thing about it.
They're not gonna do this MLB stuff.
Right.
They're gonna come out regardless. They're gonna make sure they got a football game to play. Period.
And it's multi-platform, so they already don't. Yeah.
They're going at it. And you know what? That's another thing. Sony's got to stop this You know what? I don't know. I don't understand it, man. How crossplay cannot work for your benefit. Sony has built this mindset Kool-Aid on their fan base of thinking that everything has to be Sony based. Everything.
Because that's to Sony's benefit, but not to our benefit. See, they're lying to the gamer, but they're not lying about themselves. Like, it's to their benefit that crossplay is not successful because they had, well, at the time, it's debatable now in this new generation. I would say they're actually losing, but whichever, it doesn't really matter, right? That last generation, they could say they were the leader. So crossplay didn't work for them because all it does is put more food on the plate of the competitors. It doesn't really do anything for them. It just lets them continue to eat the same amount.
Yeah, but that's why Microsoft is a big picture thinker. I mean, you got a leader who is a dev. He's thinking about it from all aspects, not just from Xbox side. You know, the devs are concerned about the lifeline of their game, how long they can have people playing it, buying microtransactions, and crossplay extends that.
Mm-hmm. But it's good for the competition, but not for them because they already owned or was far away in the lead, right? So crossplay does nothing for them. It just does for, well, it's not that it does nothing for them. It does more for the competition than it does for them. And if they're already winning, they feel they don't need that, and they're not going to give the competition that advantage, so they'd rather just cock block it.
I don't think they really care about the competition. I think that they're only concerned about what they have going on. But the developers, they want their game to be played by as many people as possible for as long as possible.
Right.
And Sony doesn't care about that.
Right. They only care what's going on for them until it doesn't work. And then when it doesn't work, and they want to backtrack. Because
here's my problem.
Call of Duty was too big for them to say no to, right?
Right.
But a Minecraft, too big for them to say no to. But a game like Madden makes sense. It's a sports game. People who just enjoy playing sports, the more the merrier. It makes sense. It just makes sense, man. I don't care if you're playing on a PlayStation platform. Bring your butt on Madden so we can go at it. I don't care if you're on Nintendo. Let's go. I don't care if you're on your PC. Fire it up. Let's go.
Yeah, and
but
here's
the thing. But here's the thing. I don't understand what you were saying, Eli. Like, okay, but early on, when it was a new thing, when crossplay was a new thing, Sony was with it. Why? Because they were losing. So if I went with your logic, see, this is the part I don't understand. Like, why early on, when crossplay was a new idea, would they have been against it even then if they didn't care, if it didn't matter to them, and they didn't care what the competition was doing? Wouldn't they just say, well, then fine, let them have it, who cares? That's not what they did. They were against it from the start I feel, because of what I was saying. They see how it's a benefit to their competition, even by a little bit. And even though it's a benefit to them, it's a bigger benefit to their competition. And why give them any benefits if they don't have to? I feel that's what they were looking at the whole time.
At what point does crossplay help either company, though? It's more about the game.
Right. It's more about the game and the gamer. But when you're behind, you portray yourself as being good for the gamer. The same thing AMD does. It's the same thing you do in business in general. If you're the little guy, you portray yourself as good for the people and good for the consumers. Now, how do you do that? The best way to do that is to make it seem as true as possible. It's especially convenient when it actually is true. And we understand that about crossplay, and us as gamers, we understand that's to our benefit. And any platform holder who speaks out against that, we know they're not for us. They're only about themselves because we understand the logic of it. That's how perfect it is. Because there was a time when Microsoft wasn't about crossplay either, and Sony was, because Microsoft was the lead and Sony wasn't. And now it's right.
All right, Jive Turkeys. I need to drop off because my kids are needing me right now. So I was glad to hear from everybody and see everybody in the chats and here on the panel. And I'll talk to you guys later.
All right, later, Techno.
All right, Techno.
Or good night. Wrong camera. Bye.
Bye. Hey, but another thing that both of them have to acknowledge is that if you got these guys who only play Madden, Fortnite, COD, they're not there spending money on the games you release, and that's what Sony's bread and butter is. They need people to buy their games too.
Yes.
So if I got the majority of my base or a bigger portion of my base invested in a Fortnite or a Madden, I need more money from you. I need it to benefit me somehow. Because I think if Sony could get by with it, they'll pull a Nintendo. Where they wouldn't have any of those big games on there because it takes attention away from their games. You got guys that have just played that.
You made your point now. Now I agree.
Those you got guys who will just play those sports games and COD, and that's it.
Yes.
They're not buying Sony games or Microsoft's games.
They're not buying nothing.
Right. And so that's why I said it only benefits the developers. That's why Sony's saying, hey, give me some more money. Because not only are you expanding your game's reach, I'm not selling mine while you're pushing yours, and I'm helping you do it. But you're right. You're right about the what happened in the past, but we got two different regimes now. Yes. That's why I like Phil, man. Phil's really trying to push gamers. Sony's a customer. Yep. And they need them to flourish because we're trying to sell them cloud. We're not trying to
understand. Microsoft don't go for that neck because Microsoft is in the business of making other businesses better. But like I said a long time ago, Microsoft isn't going to be the downfall of Sony. Sony's the downfall of Sony. Microsoft doesn't go and tell Sony how to run their business. That's not it.
Because they make money with Sony in many other markets.
Right. Microsoft
pretty much every other market they involve themselves in.
Right. Microsoft tries to do the most by making sense of what they do. They don't. This is why they don't understand why you wouldn't want more players to play your game. Like Microsoft is financially more stabilized than Sony will ever be. Let's just make that known right now. Will ever be. Sony has this mindset of me. That's the problem. And they're that company. They're like that person, man, that knows you like doing something, right? Knows that you are doing good and you're making the right moves, but will not go along with you simply because you corrected the errors of your ways that they don't, and they're whatever it is that you're trying to do that's good, they're always going to go against the grain with you. There's people like that in this world that are like that. That instead of just saying, you know what, you're doing the right thing, you know what, I'm gonna support you. They know deep in their heart that you're doing the right thing. They're gonna buck against you anyway because the way you're living your life goes against will prove to them that they're wrong. You don't have to tell them they're wrong. You don't have to say anything.
The type of person who would cut their nose to spite their face, basically.
Right. The reason why people look. This is why the Xbox community didn't understand Phil in the beginning, and I'm guilty at it first too. Because I understood it. Don't get me wrong. I'll speak for myself. Then I don't think it was Phil apologizing. I mean, not apologizing. Damn, Phil congratulating the devs that work for Sony and or Sony in general, right? Over the years, that was getting on my nerves. Because listen, man, I understand that there's nothing wrong with that, right? I've even congratulated Sony on some of the things. The problem is this with me, which was getting on my nerves. We didn't see it reciprocated. You would see Phil Spencer openly express his gratitude towards them, but you never see it coming back. But now watch this. When you mature and when you're a mature person, when you're a man about yours, when I was looking at it like that, y'all, I was looking at it in the mindset of a kid. A mindset of a kid. Or like an Indian giver type mindset. You only gonna do something only to expect something back. Now you know that we're men on this platform. We know as men that's not how life is. You do things because you know that is the way to do things. That's the difference between males and men. Men gonna do things despite if it makes you feel comfortable or not. If it's the right thing to do, I'm gonna do it. Phil Spencer is a leader in the gaming community. So when you're a leader, there's gonna be some things that you're gonna do that some of the masses are not gonna understand. But because it's life put, you don't have to explain why you do. While you're doing it over and over again, it's going to explain itself. We've never seen Phil Spencer come up on a show doing all this cussing. We've never seen a Phil Spencer get up in an article and start disrespecting people. You never saw, now watch this, you never seen Phil Spencer get on camera and not try to edify the gaming community as a whole. Notice what I said, as a whole. This guy done jumped on a Nintendo YouTube platform, sat his butt right there on the show and chilled. You know why he could do that? Because Phil Spencer embodies the definition of a gamer. And then when Phil Spencer, watch this, when Phil Spencer is even asked those tough questions, you don't see him punk out. He knows how to articulate, he knows how to approach it, and he knows how to speak it. Now, let me tell you something. I've been on this earth for a little longer than most of these little skibby cadavers, right? When you learn how to have approach,
he said cadaver.
You think more than you talk. Now, notice something. Phil Spencer has openly expressed that he is a fan of chess. Anybody who has played chess understands that that is a thinking game. You plan 4 to 5 steps ahead of your moves. Mm-hmm. Phil Spencer is a chess player in the mind. He's a thinker. So he coming, when you say something to him, he's going to absorb that, think about it, and say, which is the most logical answer that I can approach what was said to me.
Yo,
that
he
is
did that
not
most
a weak
recently.
person.
That is
an
not
intelligent person.
He did that most recently with that Halo thing. They asked him a question about Halo to kind of get him to spill guts on other things. It wasn't really even about Halo so much that they were trying to get him on. And I think it was on IGN. So you already know the sus bullshit with them. But anyway, like, and his answer was basically, yo, Halo as a franchise is not hanging. Nowhere. It ain't going nowhere no matter what happens with Infinite. Right. Like Halo as a franchise isn't dependent on the success of Infinite.
It is,
man. And it never was. And it never was. And if you guys don't understand that, we just went through 6 Star Wars movies with the Star Wars fans, and I'm not a crazy Star Wars fan. I don't care one way or another. Like, I watch it and it's cool and that's it, right? I'm not big and crazy into it, although I know things. Like, I don't care one way or another. But I see you fans, ever since they started making those prequels and now these sequels, 6 movies, over 20 years of new films, and all y'all ever did was complain. And there are people like that, right? And it's the same mindset there. There's going to be those who complain or looking for something to do. He ain't playing into that. He's like, Halo is going to be around no matter what because it's Halo. Nothing is compared to it but it. Like my boy When Awake Dragons always says, they don't compare it to other games. They compare it to other big blockbuster events like movies. Because no game ever does what Halo does.
Yep. Hey, but going back to what you said earlier, Legal, I need to pat myself on the back. I'm stepping my game up. How y'all pull up articles and start reading and stuff. Because I was going to be like, hey, there's an article, man. But I remember reading it. Microsoft is always going to be congratulatory about moves that the competition makes. Because whether they like to acknowledge it or not, they're still beneath them as a whole.
Right.
And Microsoft is always cognizant of antitrust. So the article it talks about Microsoft positioning itself as a white knight for other companies, and Apple was complaining. Google, all the big, the other $1 trillion boys club was complaining. Why isn't Microsoft here? Was Microsoft warned? No, Microsoft's been playing chess since the 90s when they got fined for antitrust, before for anti-competitive practices.
Right.
So now they're going to always position themselves that they're here for everybody.
Right.
They're not here to try to squash anybody. They're not here to try to, because let's be honest, Microsoft's still in the business of acquisitions.
Yep.
Satya has come out and said it. And eventually you got Apple who's trying to grow. You got Amazon who's trying to grow, and they have the money to go lobby the government. Google's out. Google has already closed down their studios. But Google has the money that if they decided to do another about face, that they could come back. So Microsoft's always, like you said, playing chess. They're always going to be the white knight helping everybody. congratulatory of their peers. They're not going to be here to be a villain. And Phil knows the company play, and he's going to run it. Now I applaud it.
Right.
Because the article, it goes over software giant has avoided scrutiny while openly supporting actions against Apple, Amazon, Google, Facebook, and Google. And they've reportedly ducked rules being established in new antitrust bills. Why? Yeah. Because they're positioning themselves to where they were more, they're just like they were forward thinking with Game Pass. The whole company is forward thinking. And that's why, man, that boy Satya, he'll probably catch Ballmer, man, the way he's running this company.
Yeah, no doubt. Because think about it. See, and that was the thing I wanted to say before, and you were talking about when Phil Spencer took over. Like, bro, when he had to have that talk with Satya about what's going to happen with Xbox, and I've mentioned this before, one of the things he had to do, because remember where Satya came from. He was the Azure guy at Microsoft. That's the guy they elevated to be on the king of the throne. Okay? The guy who sits on the throne was the Azure guy. The guy who brought up Azure to what it is today, like the head dude. Like, that's the thing at Microsoft that's making the money. And for damn sure, Xbox Live is powered by that. And they have a symbiotic relationship now. Like, this is one of the applications that pushes and helps to evolve Azure, and Azure does that for Xbox, like for all their gaming efforts. Like, these two things are intertwined, and definitely a part of that conversation that he had to have with him about what he wants to be able to do with Xbox had to be that to appeal to him. So they understand that they have the head of Windows isn't at the table, isn't at the round table of the Xbox of Microsoft, but the head of Xbox is. Ain't that crazy, huh? But that's why, even though Xbox isn't making as much money as Windows yet, it's very important. It's a growing thing, and just like you said too, all these other companies are like, why we not? How come Microsoft isn't up in front of Congress alongside them? It's because 20 years on, Microsoft done learned their lesson. And the government, the American government, and even the EU ain't looking at them like they're up to no good. Everybody knows what Microsoft is doing and how they're making their money. It's no secret.
Yeah,
it's no secret who they're competing with. Right. So of course they don't have, to ask Microsoft these questions. They don't have to. Microsoft's not the enemy. It's all these other companies who are doing suspect things, with ad revenue and all that. As much as I love the Oculus Quest, the only reason it's $299 is because they expect to make this ad money off instead. And a lot of people don't want to mess with that. But yeah, that's the best VR headset in gaming. And as great as that headset is, I feel it's also hurting VR and the success that it may have if a lot of people don't want to deal with Facebook because of it. It's a shame.
Real quick, have you ever tried the Vive?
I have a Quest 2. I used to have the PSVR, and I used to have a Microsoft headset that I gave away to my nephew after I got the Quest 2 because it's wireless and everything. But I've tried a Vive with the thing, and it was great. It was wonderful. But there are better headsets out now. My Quest 2 that's completely wireless for $299. I feel. And that's another thing. Microsoft and Facebook have a close connection. They need to get Oculus to be compatible with the Xbox in general, and that would be their VR angle. Let the Oculus handle that, but they're still compatible, but they don't really have to do a lot of work because it's already been done.
Could you imagine that though? I mean,
that's what I want to happen.
See, that's another thing. Microsoft has partnerships with everybody,
exactly,
with everybody but whom, and those are the people that are in Congress. They can't make a partnership with Apple because Apple wants to be by themselves.
Yep.
And Facebook, Microsoft's bigger than Facebook, but Facebook dominates its field.
Yep.
Google and Microsoft have been partnering up too. So,
but Google keeps doing suspect things with the partnerships. That's why you see they dealing with Amazon with the App Store. Like even the EU is heavy on Google. Google keeps doing sus things. Like, it's ridiculous, actually.
They have control of people's data, and that's always going to come into question what they do with that data.
Yep.
But, man, if Facebook and Microsoft could really get together and do something
with this Oculus aspect,
I'm done.
Hell yeah. Done. It's game over for PSVR 2 because that's basically what that's going to be. Is a Quest 2 on that works with the PS5. That's all it's going to be. And
that's something that Microsoft didn't waste any R&D money on.
Well, they didn't, but that's the same technology that powers the HoloLens. And that first headset I had was a Microsoft mixed reality headset. You just plug it into Windows or everything. So they've already put money into VR, and that's why I'm saying the Oculus Quest move or the Oculus move would be great, because like Windows is already ready for VR. That's a part of Xbox, right? So there's no real work that Microsoft would have to do. Like everything is already standardized by Oculus themselves, and they already work together.
Hey, was that ever a consumer product though?
What?
HoloLens.
HoloLens, like a person could buy it. Like I could buy it.
It's expensive,
but I could buy one if I wanted. But
isn't that AR as opposed to VR?
It's AR, yes.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
AR is the future, not so much VR, because even the Quest, like every VR headset has AR components in it, because that's a part of the future.
Bro, Microsoft is a monster. It's like 260 or something, man. Y'all start putting in it. It's gonna get bigger, man. I mean, HoloLens, those products are products for business.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Those are the ones who can afford to buy it, and the governments. They're starting with the US, but it's gonna spread.
I mean, a lot of people are upset about the deal that they did with the with the military in particular, using their VR and their HoloLens tech. And we all know what the military want to use that for. But I mean, if it's not Microsoft, it's gonna be somebody else.
Oh, they got a conspiracy. I'm just gonna believe what they told me. They told me it's for military simulation. So the conspiracies, I haven't read about those yet.
I don't know about conspiracies, but like for example, the F-35 has that VR headset, type thing that they do. Like these fighter pilots have like these headsets, or that they use in fighter planes for a while now. So like they've been having issues. So maybe this will help, and other things like that. Like it just be a military type thing. Like troops will eventually have a set of glasses that they wear all the time and stuff. Kind of like GRAW, but much lower end. Like that's the obvious things that people expect the military to do with that tech. And people aren't with it, but there you go.
Yeah. Well, we're down to the last 9.
All right.
And I'm gonna end it on this note right here from the Gamer article. The Xbox acquisitions are bearing fruit.
Yes.
And Sony should be worried now. The future is going to be very bright for Xbox.
Yes.
Now, this article, it's not biased, but the reason I like this article is because the guy that wrote it is very knowledgeable of both brands and what they're bringing to the table. Now understand right here when it says he says, I can't blame anyone for saying that Xbox doesn't have any games right now. In terms though of killer apps to sell the Series X and S, okay? However, it feels like Microsoft has outgrown this basic definition of what it means for a platform to have games in the traditional sense. Now, that's beautiful that he said that. It doesn't care about the console wars anymore, and neither should you, since attaching your self-worth to a brand as it bit sad. If you're a subscriber, now look, he thinks that attaching yourself to a brand is a bit sad, but that's his opinion right there. That's an opinion, because whether you buy multiple consoles or not, you're attaching yourself to a brand. So that's that notion of thinking that anytime if you solely attach yourself, it's a bad thing. No, it's not. Or if you buy them all, that's a bad thing. No, it's not. It's you are a consumer. You decide what you want to do with your own money. That's the bottom line. Okay, look at this. Is it sad for Sick or Eli to buy one home? No. I don't think I've ever heard that in my life. Somebody said, well, you only got one home, man. That's sad.
I have two.
You see what I'm saying? This is that stupid stuff that I'm talking about. Do you ever hear anybody say, oh, you got one car, man? That's sad. Nobody cares. Or you go to one school. That's sad. Or you only have one parent. You don't look, man, nobody cares. That's not the point of reasoning in one's mind that you should care about as a human being. Exactly. You see what I'm saying? None of that matters. You have one TV in your house. That's sad. Who cares? You see what I'm saying? None of that stuff matters. That's that opinionated stuff, right?
Yeah, that's like being 5 years old saying you have a motorcycle. You can't ride it. You're 5 years old.
Right. If you're a subscriber to Game Pass, it has loads of games, perhaps too many. And this number is only set to grow larger in the coming months and years. While at a time of writing, it's filled with third-party efforts and a handful of aging exclusive. That environment is going to change. And when it does, Microsoft will have built one of the strongest gaming ecosystems on the planet. The value for money is extraordinary, turning a hobby that is often far too expensive into one that can be enjoyed by all. With the console device or service you're playing on being little more than a delivery mechanism. Sony has shown with the release of the PlayStation 5 that it's sticking to its old ways, opting for a handful of blockbuster exclusives each year that cement it as a prestige platform. It's the HBO of gaming, which each new series or sequel selling millions of copies and attempting to push the medium forward with more mature examples of storytelling alongside technical showcases of visuals and mechanics we've never seen before, which is a lot. It's clearly working. So the company has little reason to change its trajectory, but it's one I feel will ultimately be its downfall when Game Pass reaches its full potential. Paying $70 for a new game when you can shell out significantly less for a month of Game Pass with hundreds of games packed in feels like an easy decision even now, right? And that will only become more and more apparent as the likes of Redfall, Starfield, Psychonauts 2, Halo Infinite, and other blockbusters arriving in the coming years. That's a lie. Now you see what I'm saying? The problem with these articles is when the person that writes it is too emotionally attached to their own thoughts.
Well, he just contradicted. He's double-minded in his thoughts.
Right. He now this is a gaming journalist. This is what I'm talking about. This is a person that has power to put their emotional rant opinions to millions of people. Millions. All right. So you would think that if you have that much influence of, to people when they read your stuff, I'm talking about the ones that are going to hold on to everything they say in their soul as if it's facts. This is why the gaming community is dumb the way it is sometimes, because they'll read stuff like this. They're not students of the game, right? They'll read stuff like this and they'll think exactly what they're reading is true when it was wrong. Those games aren't coming out years later. They're coming out this year. But it hurt him to say that. So it's better to lie and to remain in his comfort than to just tell the truth that Xbox is going to have more exclusive games this year. And they're going to have a strong library for Game Pass this year. All right? So he goes on to say, I adore Ratchet and Clank. Of course you do. Rift Apart, Demon Souls, and Returnal. Of course you do. You sound like the PlayStation fan, which I don't have no problem. That's not my problem. My problem is you lying in your article. But the average consumer isn't able to shell out $70 every month for the next big thing. It simply isn't economically viable unless you're rolling in dough. No, it's not. You can save up. How you think we've been doing it all these years? Which many younger players and even most older players aren't. Xbox Game Pass offers an alternative. Now that's facts. One where you won't be priced out of the biggest games purely because Sony isn't willing to get with the times. That's your opinion. Microsoft received a bit of flack at E3 2021 for the lack of concrete exclusives outside of Halo Infinite, Starfield, Psychonauts, The Outer Worlds 2, and Redfall. That's a lie. But firstly, that's still a lot of games. Secondly, many of his major studio acquisitions are still toiling away at projects that likely won't break cover until 2022 at the earliest. Okay, what's the problem with that? One problem I got of this article, I didn't see anywhere where PlayStation ain't bringing out no games until later off in the year. We already know this. They're not dropping nothing big. That's it. Ratchet and Clank, that's it. If they put out that Horizon Forbidden West this year, it's going to be in trouble.
Yeah, I mean,
So
Sony got to pay attention to their pacing. I mean, if everybody's being honest, they got about 5 big games, 6 tops that they know they can put out and gonna do big numbers. So they got to watch their pacing. I already knew that if Horizon was set to come out first, God of War is not coming out this year.
Right.
They got to drop it next year because after God of War, then what? Time deals. That's costing them more money. So they got to watch their pacing, man. I can't think anything off top that they can that they got after God of War.
No, because you know the lack of systems is hurting the PlayStation 5 as well. So it's not like they can just drop these games. That's why another thing why the crossplay between generations, it didn't work out right for them. They wanted to come out with their chest out, but the circumstances is not allowing them to live up to it. So, and even with the Xbox, I mean, both sides do not just have consoles to shut out the people right now. But that's the other thing. Advantage goes to Microsoft, right? Because Game Pass, most of these games are not just Xbox S and Xbox X exclusive only. Just a little bit, but mostly people that already have Xbox or already subscribed to Game Pass will be able to play these games. And on top of the fact of the S doing as well as it is, it's saying that you don't have to have a top-notch console to be able to benefit from these situations. But yeah, man, that's what I'm gonna end it on, y'all. It's 2:00 my time. I mean, not 2:00 my time, but that was 2 hours on my time, which is 5:07. I kind of went past my time, but I had so much fun, and y'all was hitting on so many topics, man, that I was just in awe, man, at the things that y'all had to say, because y'all was so pinpoint. Shouts to Techno Blast, who had to go later, had to go and exit out of the show early off to get to handle his kids, but that's just what it is, man. That's the call of daddyhood. Shouts to everybody in the chat room that came down to visit us today. Shouts to Sick. Shouts to Eli, man. Appreciate you guys, man, all the time coming in, making it a lot more interesting, because I like to hear what other people got to say, man. That's what I'm a fan of. I'm a fan of that.
Thanks for having excellent timing. When you called me, that was excellent timing, man. I got it already changed, showered up, and it was refreshed. I'm thinking, and even before I could think, hey, what I'm gonna do now? Boom. Hit me up.
We got places to go, man. It's the 4th of July. We got people to see, food to eat. I hope everybody out there stays safe today. I hope everybody out there has a good enjoyment around families and friends. Eat well. Hey, man, make sure y'all keep yourself safe, man. That's the number one thing. Get back, and if you're traveling, we hope you're safe and sound. If you're listening to us, you're traveling. We hope that you get to and fro safe and sound. We're very appreciative of our community. Shout out to the Xbox community as a whole.
I just want to say one quick thing. Yeah. Hey, this day in 1976, my mom first came to this country. So 45 years ago today, I believe is the exact number, right? 45 years ago today, my mom came to this country. I mean, geez, that one choice. I'm here now speaking to you guys. You hear my voice mentioning that fact because of that. Like, it comes full circle. It's just kind of amazing to think to be self-reflective of a lot of things. But, one of the things that is always a part of my mind when I think back of my life in gaming has always been a part of that. I love this industry. I love playing the games, following all these things. It's a hobby. It's a passion of mine. It's a passion of everybody here on this panel. And I'm sure all those in the chat, everybody listening. But the thing I want to take away from that is, stop with the shenanigans. It's supposed to be about games. Like, I want a PS5 in the games that are only going to be on there, but I've made my points about why I don't have one yet and what it will take for me to get one. Like, don't get it twisted. Ditto with Nintendo. Don't get it twisted. I play these games. This is what I do, and y'all know that about me by now. But cut out the crap, folks. Cut out the crap. And I mean, from Xbox guys too, like, don't fall into the same old thing. You already see what they're doing when they're trolling, the avenues they're going to take. They've done it a million times. Don't fall for the obvious. Like, step off or just mute these guys. Don't block them, mute them. Let's make this this community more positive, less negative. Ignore the crap. And I'm going to leave y'all with that.
Eli the realest in the building.
Hey, it's been fun as always, man. Appreciate the invite. And just want to echo what everybody else said. Y'all stay safe. I hear gunshots outside, not firecrackers. So y'all just stay safe. Enjoy your holiday. And do it again next time, man.
I want to say, man, to counter-react what Six say, I'm not buying no PlayStation console, man. I'm not gonna invest in something that doesn't invest in me.
Right.
I'm not putting my personal information at risk. I'm not, I'm not going through loopholes. I don't want a company that's constantly getting sued by its own people because they do them wrong. I don't need a company lying to me. I don't need all of that, man. So, I mean, gaming to me is where I feel, and this is why we're talking, right? Gaming to me is where I feel comfortable at, where I feel where my community is at, where I feel I'm getting the best of my investment.
That's why I say when they mop up their act, I'll be there. Up until then, nope.
Facts. They would really have to do something serious because the way they built their community, the way I watched them carefully this whole gen and last gen towards the end, and I've noticed that they are reluctant because they know because their fan base is brainwashed. Their fan base will literally stop supporting them. So it's not, look, let's keep it 1,000, right? It's not up to the Xbox fan to keep the PlayStation community thriving. Whether I go buy one or not, it's not going to keep the PlayStation community thriving. When Sony decides to make a change for the betterment of gaming, they're going to lose millions of their fan base because Sony, and that's Sony's fault. Because Sony drove this narrative for years. We're not talking just 5 years, 6, 7, 8 years. We're talking for the past 25 years, man.
Yep.
They are grown-ups now that still sound like they sounded when they were teenagers. They never grew up sick.
Yep.
This community,
they act like children. You see it in how they speak, how they react, everything they do.
Everything has to be right. Everything has to be filtered through them. They feel like they are what you call it,
gatekeepers.
They're entitled. Yeah, they're entitled.
Yeah. Yep.
And because they feel entitled, this is what creates their insecurities. When they see another brand doing great, it makes them automatically feel threatened. Look, I'm an Xbox fan. I'm still here. So it automatically speaks to my kind of mind frame. I don't worry about what Nintendo's doing successfully or what Sony's doing successfully. It doesn't affect me because I'm over here making sure, doing everything I need to do over here to make sure I stay within my great community. I'm having fun over here. You see what I'm saying? So I don't get into it, but don't try to come over here when you know you're not even over here and then try to create these little whirlwinds within our community just so you can get some stuff stirred up to make you feel better because there's nothing going on over there in your community. We already know that it's boring over there. We already know it is. We already know the community over there is boring. Are you cut on? There's more PlayStation consoles in the world that have been sold than Xboxes. So we know what it looks like when you cut it on. We know what you go through. All right, everything is taking to the next degrees. Everything that y'all do is on another level that does not need to exist. Come down. PlayStation isn't all that. I'll keep it 1 trillion with you. It isn't all that.
Big facts.
All right.
And it's y'all fault.
Stop acting like it is.
Don't settle for less. Y'all keep doing that. That's why y'all in that position. Speak up.
But look, do you know what's funny?
Take the example with the whole Xbox Live thing. Take that example. Sony could be doing a lot better.
Right, but you know what? You know what's funny? They taught us better than anybody not to settle.
Yep. That's the irony.
You understand? So now you're settling. But it's too late now. It's too late now. You know, and the funny part about it is Sony could have just been on the forefront of being for the change and for the betterment of the gaming culture before anybody. But their thing was to ridicule. They've always been like that because secretly, let's just stop fronting for Sony for a minute. They ain't never been on good terms with Nintendo. You ain't never seen Sony congratulate Nintendo on nothing they do. All right, we're not going to sit up on this channel and pretend that Nintendo and Sony is kumbaya. We're not going to sit up and pretend. We know the deal with them. All right, so it's real in the industry. Let's just stop it then. We want to keep it 1,000. Let's just stop it then. There's rift in the industry. All right, so Sony's going to do what they do. Nintendo's going to do what they do. Xbox going to do what they do. If you love them all, more power to you. If you don't, more power to you. That's where I leave it at. I'm not going to sit up here and try to paint this imaginary woulda, coulda, shoulda world, because that wasn't up to us. We're the consumer. Everything when we talk about leadership, then you don't look at leadership from the bottom. Leadership always starts at the top. So if you want to filter out the garbage, start from the top. But the top has to be real. It can't be this stuff that we don't see, right? Like, don't come telling us what we know. Like, don't come telling us that we don't need to be toxic. We know that. Don't come telling us that, no matter where you play, gaming is for everyone. We know that. You see what I'm saying? Like we're not in elementary class. Most of us are grown people. You know, I expect a grown community, because gaming is a grown community. This is why I used to tell people, you know, when you see the donkeys attack people of their age, hey, calm down, bro. Yo dude's Yoshida, Yoshida's not a young dude. That's your dude, though. You know what I'm saying? That's the dude you rock for. He's not in his 20s. Gaming isn't an age thing. It's a cultural thing. Your great grandparents could be gamers. They're not judged because of their age. How stupid does that sound? But if you didn't have people to fact check them, to run them down and tell them, yo, that's a bunch of nonsense, we would have these idiots still running around in our gaming community talking like that. So, like, understand your definitions. The one I hate the most is console wars. Console wars being over who's the better console. That's not a console war. That's being stupid. A console war has always been about the capabilities between each consoles. And right now, Xbox is winning that war. It's not about sales. That has nothing to do with a console war.
Exactly.
That, like I said, and I always say this.
Yep.
I will always say this. That came about because of the weak gaming media needed something to ride off of, and the weak gamers needed something to say to pacify their insecurities. So they went with the gaming sales. When the gaming sales was never an issue, it was always about what console can do more. And now that's what's making y'all mad. The real consoles what makes y'all mad. When you see that Xbox consoles can literally do more than what the PlayStation.
Here's the irony of all of that. And that's what I was going to say before. Like, the reason and how Sony is losing assures everyone that eventually, hopefully anyway, for them, if they ever get out of this this funk that they're in and be successful again, it requires of them to do this similar things that Microsoft is doing. And to do that properly requires a level of honesty and transparency that they have not really done too much before.
Right.
And that's a good thing, because that's the only way they can ever be successful again.
That's right.
So they have to change to be better. This is why I'm saying to you, you need to ask of them that. They have to be better to ever be anything, to be successful ever again. All eyes on everybody understands now what happened. This is why I was talking about the narratives. Once again, they all got destroyed. Everybody knows what the truth is now. It's like the gaming industry went through a couple seasons of Mythbusters in real life. We know what myths aren't true now. We know the truth to everything now.
And it took Xbox being successful. It finally took a company that didn't rely on the money. It took Microsoft to do this. So they're running into the brick wall constantly now. That's all that's happening. They can't move forward with all the dumbness.
Right. There's a lot of honesty and transparency because there's a lot of eyes. There's optics all over the gaming industry now. You cannot be successful when you do bullshit because everybody sees it and you see this cancel culture in action. But in real action, the way it used to be where people voted with their wallets. So this is a good thing that's happening in the industry, I feel. But we're definitely gonna have to leave it at that.
That's
I
right.
definitely want to add
Hey,
that
yo,
in.
Dragonheart, I appreciate you, man.
What
Yo,
I'd like
we're getting out of here. Like I said, thanks to Six Slayer, thanks to Eli, the realest one. Yo, shout out to the chat room, the dungeon out there. Shout out to the Xbox Live community. Shout out to everybody that keeps supporting Di-RRec Gaming and Six Slayer. Elite is part of the streets now of Di-RRec Gaming. I want to make that official. I'm so thankful for him, man. Shout out to Technoblast. Shout out to everybody that's been a part of Di-RRec Gaming from now to then and beyond. We're here. The streets is official. Nobody does it better. We out of here, people. Remember, keep it gaining, chase that one up in life, and be safe out here, y'all. We love y'all, and we're going to see y'all till next time. In the meantime, we throw out our two fingers and say, peace.
Peace.